Most people are looking for the next billion-dollar tech startup. They're chasing venture capital, building apps nobody needs, pitching investors who will never write them a check. Meanwhile, there's a business model sitting right in front of them that generates $200 to $800 per client, requires almost zero startup capital, and taps into a market so desperate for solutions that business owners will literally pay you the same day you walk through their door. This isn't theory. This isn't some guru's fantasy. This is the local business fixer model, and by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why the wealthiest entrepreneurs in history would tell you this is how you actually build wealth from the ground up. Before we go further, let me be direct with you. This is a brand new channel, and we're building something different here. A Premium Wealth Insights isn't about fluff. It's about real strategy, real psychology, real money. We're trying to hit 100 subscribers, and I need you to be part of that foundation. Hit that subscribe button right now. We're aiming for 50 likes on this video, because that tells me you're serious about this content. And drop a comment below telling me where you're watching from. I want to know where in the world this message is reaching. London, Lagos, Los Angeles, I don't care where you are. If you're serious about wealth, let me know you're here. Now let's talk about what the local business fixer actually is. This model operates on one fundamental principle that separates it from every other consulting or agency business you've ever heard of: immediate value delivery with zero long-term commitment. You're not signing clients to 12-month contracts. You're not building complicated marketing funnels. You're not promising transformation in 6 months. You walk into a barbershop, a clinic, a salon, and you say, "I can fix this one problem for you." You'll see results within 48 hours. You'll pay me $300 to $500. And then I'm gone. That's the entire pitch. That's the entire business. The reason this works comes down to psychology. And if you understand the psychology, you understand why local businesses are the single most underserved, desperate market in the entire economy right now. Local business owners operate under constant, crushing pressure that most entrepreneurs don't appreciate. A barbershop owner can't wait 6 months to see if a rebrand works. A dental clinic manager needs new patient inquiries this week, not next quarter. This urgency creates what researchers call cognitive friction. It's the mental barrier that stops decision-making when a solution seems too complex, too expensive, or too time-consuming. The local business fixer eliminates that friction completely. You present one problem. You offer one solution. You deliver it today. Let me give you the data that makes this real. Studies show that small businesses miss up to 40% of incoming calls during peak hours. 40%. And here's the part that should terrify any business owner. 80% of customers who encounter a missed call will never call back. They move on to the next option immediately. For a typical local service business, each missed call represents approximately $1,200 in lost revenue. A barbershop missing just 2 calls daily faces potential annual losses exceeding $584,000. $584,000 walking out the door because nobody picked up the phone. Yet most owners treat this as an inevitable cost of doing business. They shrug their shoulders and accept it. The local business fixer recognizes that acceptance of inevitability as the true selling point. You're not selling transformation. You're selling the end of a problem they didn't realize they could solve. Let's talk about Warren Buffett for a moment, because Buffett has a principle that directly applies here, and it's one of the most misunderstood concepts in business. Buffett calls it the one-foot hurdle principle. After 25 years of supervising diverse businesses, Buffett and Charlie Munger came to a realization that changed how they invested forever. They never learned how to solve difficult problems. They learned to avoid them. Instead of trying to slay dragons, they learned to step over one-foot hurdles. Buffett wrote in his 1989 Berkshire Hathaway letter, "Easy does it. We've done better by avoiding dragons than by slaying them." That sentence is worth more than a Harvard MBA. The local business fixer model is the one-foot hurdle in action. You're not attempting complex, multi-month marketing transformations. You're not rebuilding entire businesses. You're delivering singular, measurable improvements that any business owner can understand in 30 seconds. A salon owner sees their Google business profile appear higher in local search results, They see phone calls increase within 72 hours. That's not theoretical. That's money in the bank. A clinic owner gets their outdated pricing page redesigned. It costs them $200, takes you 3 hours, and increases their appointment booking rate by 15 to 25%. A fitness studio gets their Instagram cleaned up, professional photos added, story highlights organized. It takes you an afternoon. It transforms how potential members perceive the business. Here's what makes this model so powerful. You're not selling what you think businesses should want. You're solving problems they're already losing sleep over. Jeff Bezos built Amazon on a principle he repeated for decades. We're not competitor-obsessed, we're customer-obsessed. We start with what the customer needs and we work backwards. Most consultants do the opposite. They walk in with a prepackaged solution and try to convince the business owner they need it. The local business fixer works backwards from reality. What does the local business owner actually want? Quick improvements, visible results, no long-term commitment, no complicated processes to learn. You design your entire service delivery around that customer reality. Let me tell you about a case study that illustrates this perfectly. In 2008, during the financial crisis, a guy named Marcus walks into a struggling pizzeria in Brooklyn. The owner, Giuseppe, is barely holding on. Foot traffic is down. Online orders are non-existent. Giuseppe is 2 months away from closing permanently. Marcus doesn't pitch a full rebrand. He doesn't offer a 12-month marketing strategy. He says, "Giuseppe, your Google listing is wrong. Your phone number is outdated. Your hours are incorrect. Your photos are terrible. Give me $300 and 4 hours, and I'll fix all of that." Giuseppe agrees because the price is low and the timeline is immediate. Marcus spends the afternoon updating the Google business profile, uploading high-quality photos of the pizza, correcting all the information, adding attributes and categories. Within 1 week, phone orders increase by 30%. Giuseppe calls Marcus back and asks what else he can fix. Marcus upsells him to a $99 monthly retainer to manage reviews and social media. That single pizzeria becomes a $1,500 annual client from a $300 entry point. Multiply that by 50 businesses and you're looking at $75,000 in annual revenue from one neighborhood. Now let me talk to you about something Gary Vaynerchuk has been screaming about for the last 5 years, and almost nobody is listening. Vaynerchuk built his family's liquor business from $3 million to $60 million annually before he pivoted to digital marketing. He understands local business economics better than almost anyone in the public eye right now. And here's what he's been saying on repeat. Local businesses, this is your era. Go attack it. Wasting money on things that don't matter, that used to matter, is the #1 poison pill to small businesses. What's he talking about? He's talking about business owners spending thousands of dollars monthly on Facebook ads to vague regional demographics when they should be investing in direct customer acquisition channels. Google business profiles, local reviews, word-of-mouth systematization, organic social media content. That's where the money is. And that's exactly what the local business fixer provides. Vaynerchuk's philosophy validates this entire model because he emphasizes that authenticity and direct customer connection matter more than polished marketing. A barbershop doesn't need a $10,000 brand redesign. It needs better photos on Google. It needs consistent follow-up with customers. It needs someone to reply to Instagram messages within 10 minutes instead of 10 hours. These are not complicated problems, but they're problems that cost businesses tens of thousands of dollars annually when they go unsolved. If you're serious about understanding how wealth actually gets built, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, because I'm breaking down the exact playbook the ultra-wealthy use to dominate markets. This isn't surface-level content. This is strategy that works. Let me introduce you to Elon Musk's efficiency algorithm, because it's the secret weapon of the local business fixer model. Musk has publicly shared his 5-step process for optimization, and it goes like this. First, question every requirement. Second, delete any part of the process you can. Third, simplify and optimize what remains. Fourth, accelerate cycle time. Fifth, automate. Notice what comes last. Automation. Most consultants make the fatal mistake of jumping straight to automation. They automate complex, unnecessary processes, which just amplifies inefficiency. Musk's principle says, you delete first, then simplify, then automate. The local business fixer executes this perfectly. A clinic has been manually calling patients to remind them of appointments. Before you automate anything, you ask, what's the actual problem here? Calls come in. They go unanswered. Customers never call back. You don't need a complicated customer relationship management system. You need to delete the unnecessary middle layers and simplify the process. Automate follow-ups directly through WhatsApp. The result is instant recovery of lost leads with almost zero ongoing maintenance. You're not selling them software, you're selling them recovered revenue. Musk's philosophy also justifies the one service at a time approach. Rather than walking into a business and offering 47 different improvements, you identify the single highest impact problem and solve it completely. You remove everything except the one change that moves the needle most. This is how Tesla operates. This is how SpaceX operates. And this is how the local business fixer operates. Now let's talk about the economics of why local businesses will actually pay you. Understanding this requires looking at the profit structure of local businesses. A barber shop earning $12,000 monthly with a 25% net margin captures $3,000 in profit. A single additional client visiting monthly for haircuts at $30 per visit generates $360 in annual profit for the business. That's over 10% of the shop owner's monthly take-home from one client. According to industry data, barbershops with enhanced online presence and customer follow-up systems see customer acquisition increase by 15 to 30%. For an average barbershop with 200 monthly customers at $30 per service, a 20% increase in customer volume translates to $1,200 in additional monthly revenue. That's $14,400 annually. The business owner would be insane not to pay you $400 to generate $14,400 in incremental profit. The return on investment is so obvious a child could calculate it. The economics are even more compelling for clinics. A dental clinic missing just 10 calls daily with an average treatment value of $300 loses $900,000 annually to missed opportunities. $900,000. Recovering even 20% of those missed calls adds $180,000 in annual revenue. A $500 investment in automated WhatsApp follow-ups becomes the most profitable decision that clinic makes all year. Here's where this gets really interesting. The initial $200 to $800 service is just the entry point. It creates velocity and builds credibility. The business owner sees results within days. More calls, more bookings, more foot traffic. That trust creates the opportunity for the secondary upsell. A micromanagement retainer at $99 to $249 monthly. The retainer involves maintaining and optimizing the initial improvement, plus adding one additional service monthly. A business that received Google Business Profile Optimization in month 1 gets Instagram optimization in month 2, review management in month 3, booking page setup in month 4. Each addition builds a foundation of continuous improvement that justifies recurring payment. The retainer model requires minimal labor, 5 to 8 hours monthly, but it generates recurring revenue that scales the entire model. A fixer working 20 hours weekly can realistically serve 40 to 50 clients on retainer. That's $4,000 to $12,000 in monthly revenue, with roughly 70% gross margin. You're not building a unicorn startup. You're building a cash-flowing business that pays you consistently, month after month, while you control your time completely. Let me tell you about Sarah Blakely, because her story is the blueprint for exactly how the local business fixer should think about money. Blakely built Spanx into a billion-dollar company without taking a single dollar of venture capital. She started with $5,000 in personal savings and refused all funding offers specifically to maintain control and profitability from day one. Spanx generated profit from the first month because Blakely obsessed over unit economics, product cost, production efficiency, price point, customer lifetime value. Every decision was filtered through one question: does this improve the fundamental math of the business? The local business fixer applies identical discipline, You don't offer low-cost services that require heavy volume to be profitable. You sell $300 to $500 service bundles with clear costs under $50 in tools. A Google Business Profile optimization completed in 3 hours at $400 generates roughly 1,200% return on your time. That gets prioritized. A complex website redesign that takes 40 hours breaks the model completely. You say no to it. You stay focused on high-margin, fast delivery services that generate cash immediately. Blakely also emphasized maintaining personal involvement in delivery during the first phases of building the business. She spent 2 years visiting Spanx retail locations in person, talking to customers, building direct relationships. The local business fixer should do the same. You maintain direct delivery for the first 6 months. You learn exactly which improvements local businesses value most and which create complications. That learning becomes proprietary knowledge. Within 6 months, you know what works for barbershops versus clinics versus fitness studios versus salons. That knowledge is worth more than any business degree. Drop a comment below and tell me, what's the biggest challenge you're facing right now in building a service business? I read every single comment, and I want to know where you're stuck. Are you struggling to find clients? Are you undercharging? Are you offering services that take too long to deliver? Tell me in the comments and let's figure this out together. Now let's talk about Richard Branson, because Branson has a principle that explains why the local business fixer model works so well. Branson built Virgin Group into a conglomerate worth billions, and his competitive advantage was speed of decision-making. He famously said, "In the same way that I tend to make up my mind about people within 30 seconds of meeting them, I also make up my mind about whether a business proposal excites me within about 30 seconds of looking at it." Branson didn't spend months analyzing opportunities. He said yes quickly, learned rapidly, and adapted on the fly. The local business fixer operationalizes Branson's principle perfectly. The business opportunity is clear within 30 seconds of meeting a prospect. You walk into a barbershop, you look at their Google Business Profile, and you immediately see it's a disaster. Outdated photos, wrong hours, no description, terrible reviews at the top. You know within 30 seconds you can fix that for $300 to $500 and deliver visible results within a week. Yes or no? You make the decision instantly. Branson's philosophy also justifies rapid implementation over perfect planning. You don't spend weeks designing the perfect service offering. You start with a single service, Google Business Profile optimization, and you sell it to 10 businesses immediately. The feedback from those 10 businesses informs your next service offering. You learn what works by doing, not by planning. Let me tell you about the actual tools you use to deliver these services, because this is where people get confused. They think you need to be a technical expert. You don't. The entire model relies on no-code and low-code tools that compress what used to require specialist expertise into 2 to 3 hour delivery cycles. Google Business Profile optimization uses free Google tools combined with ChatGPT for description generation. You spend 30 minutes interviewing the business owner, 45 minutes updating photos, descriptions, categories, and attributes in Google Business Profile. 15 minutes optimizing with AI-generated keywords. Cost to deliver, essentially zero. Client benefit. 15 to 30% increase in local search visibility within 2 weeks. Canva templates for social media reduce design work from hours to minutes. You create 5 to 10 branded templates for the business's Instagram, hand the templates to the business owner or their team, and supply 30 days of content calendar ideas. Cost to deliver, 3 to 4 hours. Client benefit, professional. Consistent social presence that builds brand recognition and trust. Booking page builders like Calendly or Acuity Scheduling deploy in under 30 minutes and enable 24/7 customer booking with payment processing. No coding required. The business owner gets a link. They put it on their Instagram bio and their Google Business Profile. Customers book directly. Client benefit. Reduced missed appointments. Customers booking outside business hours. Automatic reminders. WhatsApp automation through services like Pabbly or other automation platforms deploys automated follow-up sequences for missed calls. Setup takes 1 to 2 hours. When a customer calls and gets voicemail, an automated WhatsApp message appears within seconds. "Hi, thanks for calling. I missed your call, but I'm here to help. What do you need? That single intervention recovers 20 to 30% of abandoned leads. The cost is near zero. The impact is massive. If you're starting to see how this works, make sure you've hit that like button. We're going for 50 likes on this video. If this content is valuable, show me. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? This is the strategy that builds real wealth, and I'm giving it to you step by step. Now let's talk about why this model resists commoditization, because that's the question smart people ask. They say, William, if this model works, won't everyone copy it? Won't prices collapse? Here's why that doesn't happen. Competitors will absolutely try to replicate this. A national franchise will offer $199 Google Business Profile optimization and compete on price. But the local fixer who lives in the community, who understands the neighborhood ecosystem, who walks into businesses in person, who builds long-term relationships through repeated contact, that fixer resists commoditization because switching costs become significant. The barbershop owner knows you personally. They trust your recommendations. They anticipate that you'll upsell them additional services. They don't want to start over with someone new. The relationship advantage creates information moats. You, working with 50 local businesses, learn what works and what doesn't far faster than any corporate entity. Within 6 months, you know exactly which services drive results for different business types. That trial and error learning becomes proprietary knowledge. Nobody can commoditize that. Let's talk about objections, because you're going to hear the same ones over and over, and you need to know how to handle them. Objection number 1, I don't have budget for this. Your response, this isn't an expense. It's revenue generation. This $300 investment typically generates $5,000 to $10,000 in incremental revenue within 60 days. If it doesn't, I'll refund you. You frame it as money-making, not money spending. Objection number 2, my daughter does social media. Your response, that's great, but when's the last time she actually posted? Family involvement usually means nothing gets done consistently. I'll handle this, deliver results, and you can decide monthly if it's worth continuing. You position yourself as the accountability mechanism. Objection number 3, I don't understand how this works. Your response, you don't need to understand it. You just need to see more customers, and you will. I'm not asking you to learn anything. I'm asking you to let me fix this problem for you. Simplicity is the entire value proposition. Objection number 4, what if I want to make changes later? Your response, all of this lives in tools you already have access to. Your Google Business Profile, your Instagram account, your Canva templates. I'm not locking you into anything proprietary. Make changes anytime you want. You eliminate the fear of vendor lock-in. Now let me connect this to how billionaires actually build wealth, because there's a pattern here that repeats across every successful entrepreneur you've studied. Gary Vaynerchuk, Sarah Blakely, Richard Branson, Elon Musk, Mark Cuban, they all follow the same playbook. First, identify an obvious problem that existing solutions inadequately address. Local businesses need quick, cheap fixes. Second, create a simple solution that 80% of people in the target market understand immediately. Third, charge enough to make profit while staying below the price threshold where buyers seek alternatives. Fourth, deliver personal service in early phases to build testimonials and case studies. Fifth, build systems to replicate the initial success. Sixth, add premium layers, retainers, additional services, once base confidence exists. Seventh, resist complexity at every stage. This is not how consultants work. This is not how agencies work. This is not how MBA school business plans work. This is how wealth actually gets created in lower to middle market segments. You solve real problems for real people who will pay real money today. Let me tell you about Mark Cuban's principle that directly justifies this entire model. Cuban has emphasized throughout his career that time is the most valuable resource in business, and every misplaced hour is money leaving the business. Cuban operates his own businesses with extreme ruthlessness about time allocation. He processes hundreds of emails daily by treating his inbox as a task list. He responds asynchronously from anywhere in the world. He does not waste time on unproductive activities. A barbershop owner earning $3,000 to $15,000 monthly cannot afford to waste time learning complicated new systems. They need solutions they can deploy immediately and delegate to staff without extensive training. The local business fixer delivers exactly this: plug-and-play improvements that work within minutes and require no ongoing maintenance. You're not selling complexity. You're selling time back to the business owner. Cuban also emphasizes that in business, numbers tell the truth before people do. The fixer identifies the one metric that matters for each business: missed calls for service-based businesses, foot traffic for retail, bookings for appointment-based businesses. Every solution you offer directly impacts that one metric. No complexity, no tangential improvements, just measurable change in what matters. Let me give you one more case study, and this one illustrates the scaling potential. A guy named David starts doing local business fixer work in Austin, Texas in 2019. He begins with barbershops because they're everywhere and they all have the same problems. He optimizes Google business profiles for 10 barbershops at $400 each, $4,000 in revenue in the first month. 6 of those 10 barbershops sign up for his $99 monthly retainer. That's $594 in monthly recurring revenue from month 2 onward. David expands to salons, then clinics, then fitness studios. By month 6, he's working with 45 businesses. 30 of them are on monthly retainers. That's $3,000 in recurring revenue monthly, plus ongoing one-time service sales that add another $2,000 to $3,000 monthly. David is now generating $5,000 to $6,000 monthly, working 20 hours per week. By month 12, he hires a part-time assistant to handle delivery of basic services. He focuses on sales and relationship management. By month 18, he's working with 90 businesses, generating $12,000 monthly, and he's built a business that runs without him handling every single client interaction. That's the scaling path. Start local, deliver exceptional results, build recurring revenue, hire help, focus on higher value activities, repeat. This isn't a get-rich-quick scheme, this is a build wealth consistently model. Howard Schultz, who transformed Starbucks from a Seattle coffee shop into a global enterprise with 35,000 stores and a $100 billion market cap, emphasized a principle that informs how the local business fixer should scale. Establish flawless execution locally, then replicate that model. Starbucks didn't begin with a global rollout. Schultz obsessed over perfection at the local level first. He spent $30 million bringing 10,000 store managers to New Orleans for a single conference designed to improve employee engagement and customer experience. He closed all U.S. stores for 3 hours one day to retrain staff in making coffee. This wasn't global expansion. This was local perfection first, then replication. The local business fixer follows this logic exactly. You don't start with a national franchise model promising 500 fixer appointments monthly. You start with one neighborhood. You walk into 20 local businesses. You deliver exceptional one-service improvements to 5 to 10 of them. You generate testimonials and case studies. You build a reputation. Then you scale by replicating the same model in adjacent neighborhoods. Each neighborhood becomes a flawless execution point before you expand. Now let's talk about the wealth mindset that makes this work, because skills and tactics don't matter if your mindset is wrong. The fundamental insight behind the local business fixer is that local businesses have experienced paralysis not from lack of resources, but from complexity. A salon owner can't hire a $10,000 per month agency. They can't wait 6 months for results. They can't learn new software systems, but they will absolutely pay $300 for visible improvement delivered by Friday. This model succeeds because it trades complexity for speed, comprehensiveness for precision, and relationship building for transaction velocity. In an economy where every business faces infinite options for improvement, the fixer wins by offering exactly one thing and delivering it exceptionally well. The wealth available in this model comes not from miraculous transformations, but from reliable execution of obvious improvements for thousands of businesses that desperately need them. Think about what I just described. You're not inventing a new technology. You're not disrupting an industry. You're not pitching venture capitalists. You're solving obvious problems with simple tools and getting paid immediately. This is how real wealth gets built, not through moonshots, through consistent execution of high-margin services that customers value and pay for. If you're serious about this, here's what you do next. Pick one neighborhood. Identify 20 local businesses. Barbershops, salons, clinics, fitness studios. Walk in. Introduce yourself. Look at their Google business profile on your phone right there in front of them. Point out the problems. Offer to fix it for $300 to $400. Get 5 yeses in the first week. Deliver exceptional results. Ask for testimonials. Use those testimonials to sign the next 10 businesses. Within 30 days, you're generating $3,000 to $4,000. Within 90 days, you've built recurring revenue. Within 6 months, you've replaced your day job income. This isn't theory. This is the playbook. And it works because the market is massive, the need is desperate, and the competition is weak. Most people offering these services either charge too much or deliver too slowly. You do the opposite. Fast delivery, fair price, visible results. That's the entire model. Let me leave you with this. The wealth you're looking for is not hiding in some secret strategy that only billionaires know. It's sitting in plain sight, waiting for someone to execute with discipline and consistency. The local business fixer model works because it aligns with how real businesses operate, how real money gets made, and how real wealth gets built. You don't need venture capital. You don't need a technical background. You don't need a massive audience. You need the willingness to walk into 20 businesses, have 20 conversations, and deliver value that people will pay for. If this resonated with you, make sure you've subscribed to Premium Wealth Insights. We're building a community of people who understand how wealth actually works. Hit that like button if you got value from this. Drop a comment telling me where you're watching from and what your biggest takeaway was. And remember, the difference between where you are now and where you want to be is not knowledge. It's execution. Stop planning, start doing. I'll see you in the next video.